Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 107. When we last left our heroes, the gang had made it to the Aoi Cosmos. They kind of, enjoyed the sights a little bit on their way to Red Cave, which we learned is a planet that the crew had been on 15 years ago with Ziggy, but they had no memory of because of all the weirdness that went on back then. But is run by Poseidon Nero, another member of the Erosian States Galactica, who also seemingly owns the entire cosmos, or runs the entire cosmos. We then check back in with Justice and find out that him and a few other members of the army are members of the Erosian States Interstellar. Uh, and so yeah, we have two Erosian States running around. And we'll see how that ties into things as we go to Red Cave, which we find out, despite being the fire planet, is a water planet now for some reason. So yeah, here we go. Chapter 107, a planet where stars fall like rain. And our picture here is of Hermit in what looks like a vaguely sailor uniform kind of vibe, on a boat in like a kind of, maybe like a gondola, not really a gondola, but I don't know. Anyway, the fire planet, Red Cave. We have Shiki and Rebecca in their swimsuits. The beach, the ocean. Aye, sir. Large amounts of salt water detected. Thanks, Pino. Charge, yeah. And the four of them all charge out into the water. And Wise just kind of like hangs back. For crying out loud, you kids are so naive. What the beach is really about. And Homer is like swinging her sword. Is training. Yeah, no. Research. And Herm is like on the ground doing some kind of calculation thing. That's just sad. What the beach is really about is the opportunity to rub sunscreen on pretty ladies. We see he's like Witch is like lined up to get put sunscreen on. And Sister looks back at him. What era are you from? And Moskoway reminds her very like matter of factly. He weighed in 50 years ago. But Witch stops him. I appreciate the sentiment, Lord Wise, but the Demon King's four Shining Star androids are equipped with the ability to customize our skin. We can hide the seams in our skin like so, and instantly tan ourselves. See? And then she darkens her skin. Is that blackface? It's not blackface. That's a bad joke. I don't want anyone to start calling me out for that, but that was my first thought. And Wise, being a creep, that's groovy. Let me see if it works under the swimsuit. As you wish, and she starts to like lift up her swimsuit before Sister stops her. Quit it with a subservient shtick. And then we check back in with Hermit. Still, how is this a fire planet? And Homura calls back. It is exceedingly hot. The temperature is high, but in your case, that's because you haven't stopped swinging that sword. And then I think this is still Hermit who's watching Shiki and Rebecca splashing around in the water. This seems more like a water planet than a fire planet, and in fact, the atmosphere is teeming with water ether. And then Witch sits like lounges back in her like a beach chair. We haven't seen a single building. I'm not entirely convinced we'll find any clues to reaching Mother here. And Sister like stretches out. Well, the search can come later. We were at the beach. It's time to have fun. Moskoway! And Moscow like chases after her. And the gang all kind of like splashes around for a while. The ship we see is like docked in the water. And Clean watches them from a window. And she turns to Chris. I want to go to the beach too. I don't want you associating with those people. We see Clean's little hairpiece like turns sad. So he turns to her. All right, but not for long. I'm off to play. And so now we see, some more like fun in the sun. We see Homura and Shiki and Pino just running. Wise, Happy, and Rebecca cooking. Sister like surfing on Moskoway. Hermit and Clean having some fun. And then the suns plural start to set, and we cut back into to Witch, It is nice to take a break like this once in a while. And just then, something hits Rebecca in the shoulder, and she looks up. Rain? Yeah. Is this? And which exposits delivers some exposition? It is light ether. It fuses with the water ether to create this sparkling effect. Clean looks up. It's so pretty. Yeah. Homer also adds in. It is a spectacular view. And we see, we're looking at a likely thumbnail here. The light ether raining down on Red Cave. And then we get a booty shot. As it's Wise's perspective who snuck up on Homura. I agree, a spectacular view. Alright, don't be a creep. And so Homer just kicks him. Grr! And squats down to talk to him. Real smooth, Prince Charming. And Rebecca turns to Shiki. Shiki, can you video this from above? Sure thing. And he turns on his ether gear. And then he picks up Rebecca. You don't have to take me. Just take the B cube, but it's not the same unless you get to see it for yourself. And then he jumps up. Aye! But we see Rebecca has her eyes closed. There, see? And she opens up her eyes, and the two of them see the shining ether alone. I know there are a lot of Shiki Rebecca fans, so this is for y'all. I don't particularly care one way or the other. But for y'all, here you go. This is their moment. It's beautiful. Yeah. Like it's raining stars. And she leans out with her B cube to record it. And they see something, some kind of escape pod, maybe, crashing down from the sky. They look confused at it. I love their face. Like they were having this whole moment, and then they just got interrupted. And the rest of the crew sees it too. What's that? I believe it's a ship. It is falling. And then it hits the water. And Sister tells the rest of the group, you guys go check it out. And Wise snaps at her, hello? It's under the ocean. And Hermit provides some handy-dandy necklaces, chokers, bracelets, can't really tell. Don't worry, we're these aquatic adaptation lacrima. You can breathe and talk to each other. Pino, yay! Happy kind of dampens her fun. We robots weren't going to have those problems underwater anyway. So that being said, the whole gang dives under, or at least the human members of the gang and the mascot crew, save Clean though. Clean is not there. It's just Shiki, Rebecca, Homura, Wise, Happy, Pino. The main six. Go for a dive. And Shiki, this is awesome. I'm really breathing. And Pino, I feel like I've turned into a fish. And Homura, of course, states the obvious. We can converse as well. And Rebecca always has her mind on it. I'm getting so much good footage today. And Happy approaches her with the cat ears that she's forgotten. Hey, you forgot your costume. And Wise takes a look down at his lacrima. Or no, he finds some lobster thing, some crab looking deal. Look at this, Shiki. I found a bug. Yarg! But Homura calms him down. Just a lobster. Oh, it's just a lobster. It only looks like one. It's actually a bug. Eek! But then Pino comes in, identifying Decapoda cardina awi, the awi lobster. It is a lobster! So your hatred of bugs has nothing to do with their looks? And he Wise kind of puts the bug right in front of Shiki's face. I hate their looks too, and now it does look like a bug. But just then Happy cuts in with the important stuff. There's the ship we saw. This way, everybody. And the crew comes down to where the ship landed. And Rebecca notes, the hatch is open. Oh no, we're underwater. If there was anyone in there. We have spare lacrima. Which would still be a problem though, because it's been a good long while since they started diving, I reckon. But anyway, they go down to the ship, and Shiki looks shocked at something. And the pilot of the ship is a skeleton. And Homer looks at him, always wanting to state the obvious. He's dead. And Shiki starts kind of freaking out. No, we didn't get to him in time. But Pino stops him. No, Master, look. He has obviously been dead for years. You're saying a spaceship manned by a corpse crashed here? What does it mean? But then Wise notices something. Hey, look at that. And we see a whole underwater city. Honestly, kind of reminds me of Elmina in Fairy Tale. Okay. There is a city under the sea. I wonder if anyone lives there. And Shiki, always with friendship on the brain. Maybe the undersea people will be my friends. I'd be too scared, is Rebecca's response. And Wise goes right back to teasing him. They might look like bugs, you know. And Pino notes something. Over there, Master, at the building that looks like a temple. That relief. Doesn't it look like Mother? And yeah, it kind of does. But she, like, has her arms outstretched towards some kind of orb-looking thing. Oh, and that's the end of the chapter. I thought we still had 2 more pages. So yeah, that is chapter 107. A chapter that can really easily be kind of split into by the arrival of the falling ship. Its first, like, 2/3 or so is very, like, fun, kind of fan servicey, but just watching the gang hang out and play at the beach. And, you know, despite, y'all know my issues with fan service by now, I read this series despite the fan service, not because of it. It has a lot of great moments. Just really fun times. Like, nothing really to you know, be, like, obsessed over, but kind of like, here's the crew getting to just kind of hang out and not always be stuck saving the day or fighting for their lives or dealing with long-lost grandparents who are suddenly trying to kill them now. It's just like, let's hang out. Let's go to the beach. And we get some great shots out of it. And then all of that changes when they see that falling ship. And we start having to... Oh, actually, not even when we see the falling ship. Because we still get, you know, some more fun hijinks with the lobster scene. But, like, it kind of starts to move in towards plot ways once we see the ship. And once they get to the ship is where the mysteries really start to open up. You know, we have the ship piloted by a corpse. We have an underwater city. The temple with a relief of Mother. There's a... I don't know, there's multiple pieces here in play. But there isn't really a whole lot to say about them, just because, like... they're just kind of there right now, and we'll have to deal with them eventually, but not yet, obviously. Because they're just kind of presented to us, and we don't really know where they're going to go from here. So, honestly, despite this chapter giving me a lot to think about, I don't have too much to say about it. Because, you know, we have some evidence that might lead to something, but no idea what it all points to yet. So, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!